Hello, my name is Andrew Platinga, and I'm a professor in the Bren School of Environmental Science and Management at UCSB. I'm going to be talking about my research with Sarah Anderson and Matthew Wiebenmeyer on the question, what determines the timing and location of fuels treatments on federal lands? So we're interested in federal lands in the Western United States that are managed by agencies such as the U.S. Forest Service and the Department of Interior, and looking at fuels treatments like thinning and prescribed burns that you see in the photos here. These activities are designed to reduce the severity of fires and therefore to protect assets on the landscape, including, importantly, homes and other structures. We're analyzing data on the location and timing of fuels treatments on federal lands, as shown in the lower right-hand corner here, and in particular asking what determines the timing and location of these fuels treatments. The first question we wanted to investigate is, what role do fires themselves play in the timing of fuels treatments? You might think that a community that has a large fire nearby would have a lower likelihood of getting fuels treatments put near it, because large fires, in fact, remove a lot of fuels from the landscape and in effect are like very large fuels treatments themselves. But what we found, interestingly, is that actually having a fire nearby increased the likelihood of communities getting fuels treatments on neighboring federal lands by 1.6 percentage points, which is a 45% increase over the baseline rate of treatment. So what is going on there? Well, we hypothesize that that this has to do with risk salience. So when a fire occurs, people are thinking a lot about the risk associated with wildfires when they have a fire near their community. However, and so what they do is they go to their federal land management agency and say, we would like you to do something about this. So for example, put in fuels treatments. However, there's a misalignment or a mismatch between the salience of risk and the actual risk, because right after you've had a big wildfire, while the risk salience is high, indeed the actual risk is quite low. Over time for the community, as the time since the wildfire occurred increases, the salience of the risk goes down as they start to worry about other kinds of risks or other kinds of problems, when indeed the actual risk is increasing. The next question we asked is whether we could use the occurrence of these wildfires to learn about what types of communities these fuels treatments are placed nearby. So we compared many communities and looked at their socioeconomic characteristics. And what we found is, in comparing communities along these dimensions, is that if you look at communities that have a wildfire nearby, the richer and more educated and whiter communities have a larger likelihood of receiving fuels treatments in the wake of those fires compared to more vulnerable communities. So we measured a 4 percentage point increase in the likelihood of getting a fuels treatment, which was a 35% increase over the baseline rate. So what's happening in this case? Well, we have evidence that suggests that it has something to do with the ability of communities to mobilize, and particularly higher socioeconomic status communities better able to do things like form fire-wise communities, and which would then enable them to better convince federal land management agencies to put fuels treatments nearby, or better able to participate in cost share programs like the Collaborative Forest Landscape Restoration Program.